I'm Greg Allen along with Sid Gautreaux with our statistician Jay Brown to bring you tonight's football game. The Baker Buffaloes coming into this contest with only one loss. A loss to the Covington Lions last week in a rainstorm in Covington, where the Buffaloes in the last minute of play lost a heartbreaking contest by a score of 7-3 to the Covington Lions. Both teams are taking the field right now. We're going to get a lineup. The captains are taking the field. Sid, you want to tell us who the captains are, and we'll watch the coin toss in.
Yeah, Greg, captains for tonight's game for Glen Oaks Panthers, number 70, Lewis Baker, and number 83, Nathan Antoine. Captains for the Battling Buffaloes, Baker High School, number 10, Joey Nelson, and number 29, Ronke Mulkey.
Captains are being introduced right now by the officials. Being introduced to the officials also. We'll wait the coin toss. Glen Oaks High School has a little different club this year than we've been used to seeing. Sid, they could be the sleeper in this district, in this area this year, because some people might be taking them lightly. I hope the Buffaloes don't. They're taking them lightly because of their past records, but they've done pretty well so far this year. Have a really exciting offense and one of the probably premier quarterbacks in this district. There's the coin toss. Did y'all get the results?
No, we missed it. We're going to find out shortly. Baker, I think, lost the coin toss, Greg.
All right.
They'll be kicking off.
Glen Oaks be receiving, and Baker Buffaloes will be defending the south goal. The Buffaloes' entire team comes onto the sideline now to meet with their coaches. And we'll be having this football game underway very shortly. You can hear the Glen Oaks bands all fired up. I think that there's a few more people in the stands on the Glen Oaks side than we've had in past years. That's not very many, but in past years you could have counted them on two hands. I think this is, we got indication that this is the first time in 30 years of this series between the Baker Buffaloes and Glen Oaks Panthers that this contest has not been the last contest of the season for both schools. I remember back when we played, Sid, it was always the game
of the season
to look forward to for the last game of the season. And up until this point, it's always been both schools' last regular season contest. Here we meet the Glen Oaks Panthers in the middle of the season. Well, Baker brought a host of fans with him tonight, as we see across the way in the bleachers. The Memorial Stadium is a big stadium, folks. It holds something like 18,000 spectators, and that's a lot of folks over there for the Baker Buffaloes to come from Baker, Louisiana here in Baton Rouge to follow their Buffaloes. By comparison, on the Glen Oaks side, it's very minimal over here. So that's good following by the Buffaloes, see?
Well, Greg, we're fixing to get this one underway. Audie Miller teeing the ball up at his 35-yard line. Back deep for the Glen Oaks Panthers, number 22, Iron Canfield, and number 23, Dimitri Kyle.
Did you say that right?
I guess so. Dimitri. Miller's kick going short to about the 34-yard line, taking up the middle.
A little squib kick's going to give Glen Oaks good field position, Sid, to start this contest.
Tackle made by number 42, Paul Gautreaux.
Almost to midfield. Looks like the Panthers are going to be taking over on their own 48-yard line.
We try to set the Buffalo defense for you. Nose guard be number 62, Quincy Hall. Tackles number 77, Keith Brossett. Number 75, Mark Haywood. Defensive ends number 44, Tim Breeden. Number 82, that's number 29, Ronke Mulkey on the tackle. Other end to be number 82, Darren Berninger. Linebackers tonight, number 41, Chad Richardson. And number 40, Anthony McCurdy. At the corners are number 9, Reggie Hilliard. Number 25, Roderick Coffey. And the safeties, number 4, Earl Marcel. Number 29, Ronke Mulkey.
Good gain on that play, Sid.
2nd and 3. Number 5, he's got enough for a first down in the Baker 36-yard line. First down for the Glen Oaks Panthers.
Sid, I don't know about the depth Glen Oaks has, but they have a good first-team offense and defense this year. I don't know how deep they go on the bench. They don't have many ball players, but so far they started off with good field position, and on first 2 plays, they're showing that they can move the football.
Well, they got a 1st and 10 at the Buffalo 37-yard line. Quarterback's going to run the ball. Awful close to first down. Looks like he can be a couple yards short inside the 30, down to about the 29-yard line.
Ooh, he said nobody to throw to. I'll just take it myself around the left side, and he did. Good run by that quarterback. That's that man we was talking about a little earlier. He's kind of an exciting quarterback for Glen Oaks.
Ball just inside the 30-yard line, close to the 29. It's 2nd down and 3 for the Panthers. And as you stated, Greg, so far, the opening moments of this ball game, Glen Oaks moving the ball against the Buffaloes.
Wide open.
He's
touchdown. Glen Oaks striking first blood on the Buffalo, Sid. That man was wide open into the right flat out there and just caught an over-the-shoulder pass and brings it right into the end zone.
Well, I don't know, but Greg, that was, our defensive man just looked like he was just going to give up on a play. I didn't even, I know he wasn't in the goal. He was right there at the goal line, but you got to keep running after him, just make an effort anyway. Glen Oaks drawing first blood here with 10 minutes and 37 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Glen Oaks looking awful strong on their first possession.
Nice a little fake field goal. They're going for 2. That'll be broken up in the end zone. Well, the Buffaloes managed to salvage that the point after attempt, or the 2-point conversion attempt, and Glen Oaks getting away with a 6-point lead. Yeah, on that touchdown play, it looked real sleepy. It looks like the Panthers has put the Buffaloes to sleep here on this first drive. The defense didn't even show up. It was a remarkable effort on the part of Glen Oaks, though. Of course, they wound up started with good field position, but on about 6 plays, every one of them were executed well, and they managed to get some yardage out of it. Well, I think they came into this contest thinking they can beat the Buffaloes. I'll tell you that. There's evidence of that.
Well, they've shown that that's what they intend to do with this opening series. Going all the way down the field, making it look extremely easy against the Buffaloes. And I got news for them, Greg, just like you stated, if these young men with the white uniforms think they're going to come in here and roll over Glen Oaks, they got another thought coming. They're going to have to play football to beat this team.
Well, it's Buffalo's opportunity now to get the pigskin. Let's see, they're going to be able to put together a sustained drive of some sort to retaliate with that 6-point. There's the kickoff. It's going to be a squib kick. Baker's going to get good field position.
Number 82, well, that's number 83, Audie Miller, covering the ball for the Buffaloes, and the Buffaloes will start their first possession in tonight's contest on their own 39-yard line.
They're about 10 yards different than what Glen Oaks had, Sid. So the Buffaloes, led by Joey Nelson, will come up to the line. And let's see what Mr. Nelson can do with his offensive Buffaloes to move that ball down the field.
Joey Nelson, number 10 at quarterback. In the ball game at tailback, number 24, Jeff Mulkey. Fullbacks, number 30, Braxton. Mulkey's picks up 3 yards over the 40 to the 42. It's going to bring up 2nd and 7. Number 13's checking in at the ball game with the play. That'll be Gerald Sewell. He should be alternating with number 2, Greg Davis, bringing the play in. Well, number 2, Greg Davis, is in the ball game at wide receiver. Uh-oh, movement on the Buffalo line and the backfield. That's going to cost them.
Well, I don't know if that's, I don't know if there was anything done wrong or not. There wasn't before flags dropped, see?
Well, it might be a questionable call.
Yeah.
illegal procedure against the Buffaloes. Backs the ball up 5 yards. Bring up a 2nd down and 12. Ball back at the Baker 30, well, near the 37-yard line. Number 31 in the ball game for the Buffaloes, Andy Foster.
Yeah, we're going to get a little running room.
Hand off to Braxton.
It's our turn.
He brings it up out past the 45 to the 46-yard line. Nice gain on the play. Pick up of about 10 yards on a play. Should bring up 3rd down and 2. 3rd and 2 for the Buffaloes.
Good gain, Sid. If it hadn't been for the penalty, we'd be in the first down position right now, as it is, because of the offside penalty. A little eagerness on the offensive line. Baker finds themselves with a 3rd down and short yardage, 3rd and about 3. Well,
pitch back to Mulkey. He's got the 1st down.
That little man on a run now.
Cross midfield, running hard down to the Glen Oaks 46-yard line. To finish setting the offense at tight end is number 83, Audie Miller. The center's number 61, Jerry Rayburn. The guard, number 60, Brian Burgoyne. Trying to see who's at the other guard. It should be, well, it's number 64 at the opposite guard position. That's going to be Craig Lang. Finish setting them as soon as I can get the rest of the numbers. Ooh, handoff up the middle of Braxton, but he goes nowhere. Depends on where they mark his progress as to whether or not he picked up the 1st down. It appears from here he did pick up enough.
No, he had that 1st down on the last play. It was 1st and 10.
Okay. Shows you where I'm at, trying to get numbers off a player.
Yeah, we're looking at the wrong dot over there, folks.
Number 78, Rodney King, be a left tackle for the Buffaloes.
He gained about a yard and a half on that play, Sid.
And number 50, Lonnie Furr, be at right tackle. 2nd and 9. Woo, Glen Oaks popping hard. Mulkey with the ball, trying to pick up some yardage.
Boy, that little man's excited. He'll run that football tough.
I tell you what, Greg, we talked about him all year. He's an exciting broken field runner. Can stop, change directions on a dime. If he had a little more size to him, he'd be awful tough, because he tries to run over people with the size he's got and does a pretty good job of it. 3rd down for the Buffaloes, 3rd and 7. The ball at the Glen Oaks 43-yard line. Nelson back to pass. He's got a man wide open.
Yeah.
Let's see, that's going to be number 2, Greg Davis, all the way down to the Panther 31-yard line. So it gives the Buffaloes a 1st and 10 at the Panther 31. With 13, Gerald Sewell checking in the ball game with the play. Timeout, Glen Oaks Panthers. Panthers wanting to regroup. They started this contest on their first possession, marched straight down the field against the Buffaloes, made it look easy, and they're on top of the Buffaloes by a score of 6-0. Buffaloes moving the ball on the ensuing kickoff, have a 1st and 10. The ball just outside the Glen Oaks 30-yard line at about the 31. Glen Oaks want a little time to talk things over, knowing that they've jumped out ahead of the Buffaloes here early in this ball game. Certainly want to try to do everything they can to ensure that they keep that lead. And of course, I'm sure Baker, on the other hand, talking with their coaches on the other side of the field, are figuring some kind of way to push that ball into the end zone. Baker so far doing a pretty good job of moving the ball.
Yeah, the offense is looking good. Joey Nelson giving notice on that last play that he's ready to throw the football, and that they're capable, very capable. He's really impressed me this year by progressing in each ball game with poise and finesse. All right, we got another yellow ribbon here. Boy, it's a little early movement.
Illegal motion against the Buffaloes. That's the 2nd penalty so far tonight against the Buffaloes, both for illegal procedure. So they'll back it up another 5 yards. Rather than 1st and 10 from outside the 30, it'll be 1st and 15 from outside the 35. Greg, I think the fans across the way for Baker's side are a little in shock right now at seeing the ease of Glen Oaks scoring on that opening kickoff with that drive. That is definitely not the defense that we're used to seeing from the Baker Buffaloes. They've won several games this year purely on their defensive effort, and that certainly wasn't one of their best efforts.
Joey Nell's got a man wide open. Oh, man.
Pass was intended for number 31, Andy Foster, down near about the 10-yard line. Andy couldn't get to the ball.
Look, let's give Joey Nelson credit. The ball was there. That young man reached down and tried to get the ball with his fingertips. He could have got under the football and at least got that much yardage with the pass completion. The pass was there. The man was open.
You're right, it was open. 2nd and 15 for the Buffaloes. Number 24, Mulkey's got some room.
There you go.
Could be in.
He gonna get in.
All the way. Jeff Mulkey doing an outstanding job from out near to the 36-yard line. Takes it all the way in on a play from scrimmage. Jeff had a great hole to go through at the line. Just busted through that and just put a couple fakes on the linebacker and the safety, and he was gone, Greg. Beautiful run, and we know that young man's capable of doing that anytime he gets his hand on the ball.
Well, that's a good sign when your offense, when an easy touchdown comes against you like it did on that first drive against Baker, and then their offense takes the field with some 60-something yards to go and has a steady, sustained drive with a lot of penalties, by the way, that they managed to overcome, bring the football down the field, get into the end zone. The net effect right now is the same as it when we started. It's virtually nothing to nothing, although the score is 6-6. So Baker has an opportunity right now to take a 1-0 lead, if you will, with an extra point conversion.
Baker penalizing themselves again with another illegal procedure call. That's the third one here in the first quarter of play, backing the ball up 5 yards. So Audie Miller, number 83, will be attempting this extra point from somewhere near the 15-yard line. We're tied up 6-6 early in this contest.
Good kick.
Kick's good. Audie could have made that one from the 25.
Oh, they said it's off.
What?
Officials indicate it's off to the left, so it'll be no good. The score will be tied 6-6 with 7 minutes and 13 seconds left in the first stanza play here at Memorial Stadium in Baton Rouge. The Baker Buffaloes has come back down on a sustained drive to tie the ball game with the Glen Oaks Panthers by a score of 6-6. Well, Glen Oaks did theirs a lot easier than the Buffaloes did theirs. It seems that the Buffaloes had to work a little harder, but maybe Baker's put something together on their defense for this drive.
Well, so far we've seen little defense from either club. Glen Oaks taking the opening kickoff, marching all the way down the field, capping it off with 6 points on a touchdown. Went for 2. The attempt failed, and they were up by a score of 6-0. They kicked off to Baker. Baker drove the ball all the way down the field on their first possession of the contest, put 6 points on the board, and after the illegal procedure call, back ball up 5 yards, missed their extra point attempt. So we're knotted up here so far, early part of this game, 7 minutes and 13 seconds left in the first quarter, 6-6.
They're going to get good field position again, Sid. We got short kicks here tonight. Just like you said, whenever he kicked that football, he had distance. I thought he was going to hit that building across the street over there, but we kind of took for granted he was on mark, but the official was waving him off.
Well, it had to be close.
He has been fairly accurate this year, so that's a rarity to see him miss off to the side. Again, the Panthers wind up with good field position, Sid, at the 40-yard line, only 60 yards to go away from pay dirt, and that's kind of a deficit for the Buffalo. Nobody out here.
Good defense that time, only picked up about a yard. Number 20, Ben Gotro, in at the safety position. Glen Oaks picks up a yard on play, brings up 2nd and 9, ball at the 41-yard line. Pass intended for, well, let's see, I don't see his number. Number 24, Donnell Baker, incomplete, brings up third down.
See it on that rollout to the left that time. That quarterback stopped for a moment and cranked like he was going to his deep man, but Ben Gotro had the deep man covered stride for stride, so then he opted to go for the short man, and I think it was just a missed ball. All you can say about that is it hit the ground.
Yeah, it looked like that was definitely a catchable ball. Big third down play.
If you watch the wide-outs, the wide receivers, they got some fast receivers. Ben was staying with that man that time, but he had a foot race working. Uh-oh. Ben's giving him a little ground off of the line of scrimmage so that when he does go deep on him, he can stay with him. They're doing a good job staying with the deep receivers.
Well, we got flags down, Greg. It's going to be a penalty against Glen Oaks. So Glen Oaks hurting themselves on a 3rd and 9. Be interesting to see what happens here. I would think that Baker would decline the penalty if they have that option. Make it 4th. There's 2 penalties, okay. Illegal and holding against Glen Oaks.
Well,
Both of them decline.
The Glen Oaks mothers have to be worried about whether that was their son or not that did that. So, I remember Pam used to cringe every time there was a penalty on offense. Was that Goo? She would say, was that Goo doing that?
Goo never held. He held on to the dinner table when y'all were trying to get him to get up. Goo Allen, cameraman, nice game. Former star athlete here at Baker High School. Now he's a star cameraman.
Oh, they got him in punt formation for a change. So the Buffaloes will take over the football again. Uh-oh.
Ooh, almost
I thought we had that in block for a second.
I did too.
That flag on the play at the line of scrimmage said, and then there's another one deep down the field where the Buffaloes were to receive the football. So let's let the officials get their heads together now and see what we're going to.
Well, Glen Oaks players indicating it's against Baker, but that would be normal.
You mean it'd be normal for them to indicate that, not normal for it to be against. And then if they had an ineligible receiver downfield, even though it was in a punt formation, the interior lineman, as you know, said can't get past the 3 or the 5 yard zone. And they had a man go downfield early, so what was it? Oh, 12 men.
12 men on the field.
For Baker, okay. Offsetting penalty with 12 men on the field for Baker. Although the effect's not going to be offsetting, it'll be a first down for Glen Oaks.
15 yards.
The penalty will give Glen Oaks the first down. He's going to call it ineligible receiver downfield against Glen Oaks, and now he'll call 12 men on the field. It didn't offset that.
Illegal participation.
Illegal participation, which is a 12-man rule, right?
Well, nowhere that time. Glen Oaks having a 1st and 10, the ball on the Baker 45. No gain on the play. It's going to bring up 2nd and 10, ball on the 45.
In other words, hold on just one second, folks. We're going to get a word from our statistician as to what the net effect of those what those penalties were. Jay.
It's a little confusing with the new rules this year, but the fans would see the official put his hands behind the back of his head. Greg, that's similar to illegal receiver downfield, which is on top of the head, but that's 12 men on the field as 10-yard penalty and automatic first down.
Well, folks, this is just another dimension that we have for you this year. We got, although Marvin Summers couldn't be with us, we have somebody who knows all these rules and can keep us up to date with what's going on, Mr. Jay Brown. Thank you, Jay.
Greg, we missed you at last week's game. We know you were there, but we knew that you felt that your obligation was to stay with the fans out in the rain, and we saw you out there with the umbrella.
Well, I was on the sideline because, let me tell you, this is the first time in my life I ever had a chance to cover the media. The media usually covers me, but Larry Brooks was out there with his little pad, and it was getting soaking wet during the ball game, and he was missing all the stats, and it was just fading on him. So I held up my umbrella and covered the media for the whole ball game. I know y'all really needed me in the press box, but I felt like the media needed me first.
I understand.
And I just want the Observer to remember what I've done for him.
I understand.
Larry told me after the game he'd write anything in there I wanted him to say.
I understand. Well, Buffalo defense doing a job again, forcing the Glen Oaks Panthers to punt on 4th and 4, the ball at the Baker 39-yard line. Well, unless we get a run back, Glen Oaks could come out pretty good position defensively, putting Baker deep in their own territory. The return is definitely on. Kicks going down to the 5.
Ooh. Coffin
Going
going
out of bounds at the 5, and Baker's definitely got to start with their backs against the wall. 1st and 10. Ball to Baker 5-yard line.
Look, getting back to me covering the media, and I told you Larry Brooks said he'd write anything in the paper that I would want, and I don't want it to be a surprise to you. There'll be an article coming out this next week about me running for chief of police. So
I understand.
I think you ought to be the first to know.
I hear you. Well, let's see if the Buffaloes can do it again this time. They got 95 yards to go. This is their second possession.
95 yards.
Hand off to number 24, Mulkey. Picks up about, let's call it 2 yards. Out to about the 7-yard line. It's going to bring up 2nd and 8.
Yeah, if Rule Book Summers can't make it, we got the next best thing, son.
John Olin Brown, J.O.B. Job.
My main man. I want y'all to know at the first of the ball game, you noticed that with the cameras on us, I didn't have my red Buffalo shirt on. I'm in LSU at school for 2 weeks right now, full day, and I just left her and met Pam here, so she didn't bring my shirt. We want to blame her.
Ooh, Mulkey hit hard. Woo! Big number 79. Let's see who he is for the Panthers. That's Marco Perkins. Now, Greg, we just had a 6'3", 310-pounder meet head on with a 155-pound junior running back.
That's it. And he lost.
He lost. Although he edged out another yard, brings up 3rd and 7 for the Buffaloes. Pitch back to Mulkey.
The little man's going to try to, hey, good cut. Good cut.
Good run,
Right
good
run.
effort.
He got a
Mulkey
first down,
picking up
Bill.
the first down. Great run by number 24, Jeff Mulkey, all the way out to the Buffalo 17-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Buffaloes. That was a fine personal effort by number 24, Jeff Mulkey.
Folks, we don't know what kind of visual coverage you're going to have on this game. Our monitor indicates the lack of light coming on, but the stadium tonight is suffering from the lack of some of the pole lights. One complete pole is out with some of the bulbs missing on some of the other lights. This stadium recently has been poorly maintained, Sid, as far as lighting, it appears. So if it doesn't come out as well as we would like, it's not our fault. We're trying our best.
Hand off to Braxton out near the 20-yard line. They're going to spot it right at the 20. Pick up of, let's say, 3 on the play. Going to bring up 2nd and 7. The ball at the 20. 2 minutes and 35 seconds left to go in this contest. Score is tied. Glen Oaks Panthers 6, Baker Buffalo 6. This is the first district contest of the season for both clubs. As we mentioned earlier in the telecast, Baker came into the night with a 4-1 regular season record. There he is, number 30, Jeff Braxton, exploding off the line all the way out to about the, let's say the 29-yard line. Enough for a first down. Greg, as we mentioned, Baker coming into tonight's contest with a 4-1 record. Their only loss coming last week against the Covington Lions, losing in the last 52 seconds of the ball game. Baker had led through most of the contest on an Artie Miller field goal. But Baker starting the season, going into district play, excellent shape. There's the way Jeff Braxton's capable of running, Greg.
I'm going to tell you
running
what.
hard and putting his head down and trying to drive through people.
Give credit to that number 63 for Glen Oaks, Sid. He did a job that time, I want to tell you. He
certainly did.
They both met full speed. It was good defensive coverage on the part of the Panthers that time.
We got a 2nd down and 8, the ball at the 32, but if anybody would have been given odds against what Baker's record would be at this point in the season, facing the schedule that they face this year against the likes of, Eric Butler, he's got some room. Down across the 50, Eric Butler all the way down to the Glen Oaks 45-yard line. Great run by Eric Butler, who came in at tailback, replacing Jeff Mulkey. That was a beautiful run that time, Greg. Good hole, good block thrown out here on the end. But as I was saying, Baker, with the schedule we had, playing the likes of Zachary, Acadiana, Jesuit, Thibodeau, Covington, with this young team that we have, especially defensively, such a young team, you know, we'd have said we'd have been good to be 3-2 or 2 whatever at this point. But Baker having a good season so far.
Good.
As Eric Butler running hard.
Good run.
Boy, look at that. I love to see a kid run like that. Just put his head down when he says, I can't go anywhere else. I'll go over him. All the way down to the 30-yard line. Another first down for the Buffaloes.
The beauty of that is he had lead people in front of him that was getting through too, and there wasn't nobody to even block till they got on deep into the secondary. He was following his blocker well, boy. He made one more shift to the outside left. He had a man to cut him off out here.
Eric Butler looking extremely well. Two carries here for the Buffaloes. Hand off to Braxton, number 30. He's got some room. Braxton trying to run over people inside the 20 down to about the 12-yard line.
17-yard line, I believe.
You're right. I wanted to give him another 5. 17-yard line. Another first down for the Buffaloes. 1st and 10. Glen Oaks 17-yard line. And that tandem right now of number 30, Jeff Braxton, and number 22, Eric Butler, it looks like a winning combination for the Buffaloes at this point. Number 2, Greg Davis flanked out to the far side. Hand off to number 30, Braxton. All the way down inside the 5 to about the 3-yard line. Should be first and goal for the Buffaloes. Are awful close. Depends on where they mark the ball.
Sid, I don't know what's
first
changed
and
on
goal.
Glen Oaks defense. In the first series of down, we've had trouble between the tackles, and right now, the last 4 or 5 plays, we've seen some beautiful run plays for long yardage that's really adding to their yards per carry for the Buffalo offensive backs. We got 4 seconds. What is it? 7 seconds.
8 seconds. 6.
5. Clock's running in the first quarter. It appears that Baker's going to go ahead and opt to let the clock run out, and it did at the end of the first quarter of play, with the Buffaloes coming back to tie the score with Glen Oaks Panthers by a score of 6-6 here at Memorial Stadium. Baker threatening now on another long drive down inside the 5-yard line at the Glen Oaks 3-yard line with 1st and goal. There we see the Buffalo fans across the way over there, along with the Baker cheerleaders. Did you bring your folder, Sid? I wanted to.
No, I didn't, Greg. I was down here in Baton Rouge and had to come straight here to the.
There's Buffy along with the beautiful Baker cheerleaders across the way on the sideline, who led their Buffaloes here tonight at Memorial Stadium in Baton Rouge. We are not in Bufftown tonight. We're not at Wedge Kai Stadium. We're at a neutral field meeting the Glen Oaks Panthers at the Memorial Stadium here off the Interstate 110 loop in Baton Rouge. This, of course, is a home game for the Glen Oaks Panthers. Baker being the visitors, threatening on the 3-yard line, 1st and goal.
Oh, nowhere. Might have lost about a yard on the play. Maybe got back to original line of scrimmage. Going to bring up 2nd and goal. Baker started this drive back on its own 5-yard line, so if they can push this thing in the end zone, they will have traveled 95 yards on this drive. Maybe our statistician could tell us how many plays.
Sid, Baker has the option in their offensive portfolio this year. Off a dive play like that, and it's wide open around the end, it might be a good opportunity for Joey Nelson to try that option play.
Touchdown, Eric Butler. He's in. So Baker going 95 yards on 13 plays for their 2nd possession of the night's game and putting 6 points on the board. Buffaloes are on top of the Panthers for the first time tonight by a score of 12-6. Be interested to see what's going to happen here. I would imagine we'll just go ahead and kick the extra point, but we may go for 2 here, Greg. They may have enough confidence in the Buffaloes offense. They've been able to move the ball pretty much at will against Glen Oaks.
Well, we're going for 2 from the line of scrimmage, but we do have a 2-point play out of the extra point stance. But Joey Nelson's leading the Buffaloes in for a 2-point conversion attempt right here. And I think he made it himself.
Got it.
On the
Joey
option.
kept it.
That's the play that we looked for earlier, where
right.
he faked it to the inside man and carries it in himself around left end for 2 points.
Well, he faked the handoff up the middle of number 22, Butler, and then he rolled out on the option, had number 30, Jeff Braxton, taking the cornerback out, and Nelson just stepping on across the goal line himself.
Boy, that young man's impressed me. Said he's gotten better in every ball game. I'm going to tell you, you couldn't have asked much more for him last week. in that loss to Covington in that rainstorm. It rained the whole ball game, and I don't think he miscued the ball twice during the whole game from a quarterback standpoint. He did a fine job for the Buffalo. Mr. Joey Nelson.
Baker scoring on a 95-yard drive, 13 plays, taking up 5 minutes off the clock, Greg. Very impressive drive, and so far tonight, Baker on two possessions have scored on both possessions. We'll give you some first half stats here, first quarter stats rather, after the kickoff. Hilliard kicking off for the Buffaloes, gets a nice kick down to about the 16-yard line. Looked like there might have been a fumble on the play. I think Buffaloes may have come up with his football. Of course, officials aren't reacting too quick. I think they're going to call it down. Glen Oaks will take over. 1st and 10 on the 35-yard line. Greg, in the first quarter statistics, Baker had a total of 10 first downs as opposed to 3 for Glen Oaks. Baker had 11 yards passing, Glen Oaks 44 yards passing. Rushing, Baker had 121 yards, Glen Oaks only 16. So the total offense for both clubs in the first quarter, Baker a total offense of 132 yards, Glen Oaks 60.
Most of that rushing yard for the Buffaloes came on that last drive on some fine running plays that we've seen on the part of Baker.
Long pass downfield.
He's covered.
Oh, both of them had position on
Ben
it.
Gotro was right on the man along with, who's the other Baker Buffalo?
Number 6, Reggie Hilliard.
Both of them was right there, and they each had an opportunity to pick that off, and just doing their job defensively kind of broke the football up from both of them.
Well, you're right. They were both on that man, had him covered good. Baker in the first quarter, however, did have 4 penalties for a total of 25 yards. Glen Oaks, no penalties in the first quarter.
Well, Glen Oaks sending notice early on this drive that they're going to put the football in the air, and they have a man that can throw the football in that young quarterback of theirs that has done exceptionally well in previous games this year. He's going back again. He's going to put it in the air.
Well, the defensive secondary doing a good job of covering all the intended receivers. Well, going to bring up a 3rd and 10 ball.
Susie ain't going to like this. They picking on Ben tonight. They're throwing right down in his territory.
Well, he told me if they picked on him too much, he was going to pick one off.
Well, we're lucky we didn't get a flag. I think that one of our linebackers came real close to the line of scrimmage that time on a rush of the quarterback.
Number 33, Jernigan, in at linebacker now, replacing number 40, Anthony McCurdy.
They're going to chunk it again.
Well, pass complete. That was a 3rd and 10 play. Glen Oaks completing the pass all the way down to the Baker 44-yard line.
Reginald Hilliard there just a little bit late, Sid. He was the man covering across the middle, and that was just a fine attempt, a fine reception by the Glen Oaks Panther, because the ball was not exactly on mark. He went up in the air, and it was a valiant effort on making that catch that time.
Well, one thing the Baker defense is going to have to do, I think Glen Oaks has not established a run after their second
you can look
possession.
For
I think they're going.
Probably from
we need to put some pressure on.
There
Good job. There you go. That's how you break that up. Pass incomplete. Somebody got a big hand up on it.
Number 44 for the Buffaloes. Who is that?
Tim Breeden.
Yeah, Tim Breeden comes slapping the ball down. That was a fine job.
I tell you what, that's what it's going to take. But, Glen Oaks is smart. They're really dropping the quarterback back short. He's not dropping back deep. He's having to set up quick, but it doesn't give you front four or much time to pursue the quarterback on those tight plays. But that's the best way to defend it, get up in his face like they did. Batted the ball down.
It makes your job easier for your defensive
draw
back.
play.
There's the draw play we
Good
saw.
job, Darren Behringer. Darren Behringer, number 82. Quincy Hall, number 62, and along with both ends that time did an outstanding job. Tim Breed, number 44, coming from the opposite direction to assist on the play.
We had just mentioned, Sid, the possibility of a draw play after opening the football game up with those pass plays like that, you can look for that. Baker's defensive line playing heads-up football was right there to stop that to stop the draw play.
Well, another passing situation, 3rd down and 9. Third down and 9.
Defensive back's going to get tested again. There he is.
Oh, he had a man open. Over here on this side of the field, he had the man open.
Yeah, he just wasn't on mark. That was the quarterback's fault that time. He just missed number 24 that time because he was wide open down the sideline. Well, that's going to put him in punt formation, and the Buffalo said, y'all kick him to it. We'll take it again. Baker Buffalo's leading by a score of 14-6 with 9 minutes and 48 seconds left in the first quarter of play. After 2 successful drives, missing the extra point conversion on the first touchdown, coming back on an option play by Joey Nelson, picking up the 2-point conversion on the second touchdown. Good
nice
kick.
punt.
Well, let that
Going
go.
down about the 10-yard line. Mulkey's got it. He's over around the far side. He's got some running room, Greg.
Oh, man.
Got some blockers, too.
I'm glad we didn't let it go.
Woo! Look at this. I love to watch that little man run.
Who was that said we ought to let that go in the end zone? I'm glad we did what we did. Who was that?
Well, Jeff knew if he can't score unless he gets it in his hands, but
Jay Brown
that was
had
a
to quit
good
talking on
job.
that mic. He shouldn't have said stuff like that.
Jeff Mulkey doing an outstanding job along with the punt return unit, putting some real good blocks out there to help spring him down the sideline all the way down to Glen Oaks 46-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Buffaloes with 9 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the first half. Buffaloes on top of the Panthers by a score of 14-6. Baker having excellent field position. Seems to be some discussion with the Glen Oaks coach, with the officials on the sideline. Officials stopping play momentarily here. And there seems to be a discussion. And
There's a flag, I think. Let's see.
Coach is real animated, Greg, so he not only will the official understand, but the fans up here understand what he's trying to get across.
I understand. That's why we account for the movement. Folks, contrary to what you might believe, that is not the Baker High School coaches with their back to us, but both coaching staffs are dressed exactly alike tonight. Of course, Baker being on the sideline across the way, that is the Glen Oaks coaching staff, but Baker Buffaloes are dressed, clad in red shirts with black pants, as are the coaching staff of the Glen Oaks Panthers.
Well, that was a 34-yard punt and a 44-yard return by Mulkey. Excellent effort by the punt return team. Joey Nelson seems to be calling a timeout or something here. There's some kind of confusion on the field.
Well, I think he's getting some kind of an explanation from the officials as to what was going on. I believe Baker will go back into a huddle again. Yeah, Joey Nelson's gone to the sideline to meet...
Well, they charging Glen Oaks with a timeout is what they're doing, Greg. I think the Baker coaches probably complained to him as to why they stopped play and went to the sidelines. So what they're doing is charging Glen Oaks with a timeout, which rightly they should. Officials explaining to the Glen Oaks coach who, well, he might see if he gets a little animated again. Yep, watch. Well, still having a discussion. Yep, there, he's getting animated.
See, while we got a little break, I want to thank our sponsors that's been with the Buffaloes for the last several years. Domino's Pizza, along with Pizza Hut Pizza that supports the activities at Baker High School. Without these kind of sponsors and the support that they give the school, a lot of these activities couldn't be brought to the people at in their homes, like Baker High School football. Whoa, a little bobble on the play.
What an exciting play, huh?
No, not really. Short pass. A short pass by Joey Nelson caught by himself in the backfield.
Got a loss on the play of about, let's call it 4 yards. Going to bring up 2nd and 14, ball at midfield.
That was a little miscue there, taking the ball from center. I want to thank Treb Productions under the owner and operation of Mr. Bert Carson from Baker, Louisiana, who spends many, many hours and much, much money to bring these athletic events to the folks at home.
Nelson back to pass, has some time, got a man wide open. He hits him down on about the 25-yard line. That's going to be number 13 for the Buffaloes, Gerald Sewell all the way down to the Panther 24-yard line, be 1st and 10 for the Buffaloes. Greg, next time you bring Pam to the press box, you're going to have to let me know so I can bring Susie, because now I'm going to have to listen as why did Pam get in the press box and I didn't, and she got to eat the pizza and I didn't.
Yeah, right. It's all in the pizza deal, too, now. It ain't where they get to sit or who gets in the press box. It's who gets the piece of the pizza and who didn't get a piece of the pizza. And we got to listen to all that.
Hand off to number 22, Butler, picking his way through the line all the way down inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line. Good gain on the play for the Buffaloes.
Sid, the Baker Buffalo offense is doing
Another
tremendous.
first down.
I'm going to tell you, they're moving that football on Glen Oaks so far on every drive. I don't think we've been in punt formation yet, have we?
No, we hadn't. And I tell you, the key to this drive has been the blocking. Well, the key to the offensive success so far tonight has been that blocking of that offensive line. They've opened the holes for the running backs, and they've kept the men off of the quarterback in the passing situations. Doing an outstanding job so far tonight. Hand off to Butler again. Butler's fighting his way inside the 10 to about the 9-yard line.
Well, inside the 10, we won't be seeing the punter on the field on this drive either. That's one statistic, as the old coaches used to say, you don't want to lead in, is punting.
That was Mulkey, correction, that was Mulkey on the carry. Number 34 also in the ball game for the Buffaloes now. That's going to be Ivy Toussaint. Ivy Toussaint, 175-pound junior for the Buffaloes.
Well, Sid, Baker has an opportunity, I believe, to get a first down before they can get in the end zone. It's second and about 5 or maybe a short 6.
All they have to do is go to about the 4. Toussaint, the ball carrier, picks up about 2 yards.
We seen that young man week before last at Baker come alive in the last quarter of play and do some real good, hard, strong running.
Toussaint picking up about...
I think Goose had over 100 yards in that ball game.
Right.
Goose keeps me posted, I'm telling you.
We got a 3rd and 4. We only picked up 1 on the play. 3rd and 4. The ball at about the 7-yard line.
Well, Glen Oaks coaching staff calling for a timeout.
Well, they didn't want to have to use it, but they saw something they definitely didn't like. I think 12 men on the field would probably cause you to call timeout.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, that'll do it. 12 men on the field for the Panthers.
Well, that penalty would have given Baker a first and goal.
I don't see them taking anybody off.
But yeah, they taking that Texas A&M 12th man business seriously.
Yeah, I don't think nobody's coming off the field. They're all still in the huddle, so maybe all 12 of them's going to go back on. Oh, they did? They got him off?
Yeah, he got him off. He came straight on out. He wanted to play bad, Coach. Ladies and gentlemen, we got 6 minutes and 49 seconds left to go in the first half of play here at Memorial Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where the Baker Buffaloes are on top of the Glen Oaks Panthers in the first district game of the season by a score of 14-6.
Yeah, 6:44, 14-6, and Glen Oaks has 11 men. Now, isn't that something? Instead of 12.
Amazing.
I'm supposed to be the color man. See, I'm supposed to kind of dress this up a little bit, ain't I?
Nelson puts Mulkey in motion. It's a rollout. Nelson looking to throw the ball. He's throwing the ball.
Yeah.
There he is. Touchdown. Number 2.
I think it's going to be roughing the passer. They got into Joey Nelson way after he released the ball, number 50 for the Panthers.
It is against them. You call that right, Greg.
Yeah, he was right on top
of Buffaloes.
Well, he had released the football and was wide open, kind of slowing down when the man come up and cleaned his plow.
Well, that's how you do it on the chalkboard right there. Both number 24, Jeff Mulkey, coming out of the backfield, running the short route in the end zone. He was open, as well as Greg Davis, who came from the far side of the field deep in the end zone. Both men open. Number 10, Joey Nelson, having a good time getting out on the rollout. Hits number 2, Greg Davis, in the corner of the end zone. Buffalo's on top by a score of 20-6.
See, let me talk about varsity maturity on the part of Joey Nelson that time. When you take a cheap shot like that, it's easy to get hot-headed, come up swinging, and all you'd be done is have offsetting penalties, and then if you lose, he got it real cool. The officials that threw the flag, they're going to be able to take the penalty, and I thought he handled himself very, very well. Mr. Joey Nelson, who, by the way, is holding the football now for the extra point conversion. And it's up. And it's good.
So it's 6 minutes and 43 seconds left to go in the first half here at Memorial Stadium. The Buffaloes on top of the Panthers by a score of 21-6. John, you got us any stats on that last drive?
Well, Sid, the first possession of the night belonged to the Glen Oaks Panthers. Got everybody kind of excited because on about 4, 5, maybe 6 short plays, they moved that football down the field and scored against the Baker Buffaloes. It looked like the Buffalo defense was asleep. Since that time, you've evidenced that the defense have risen to the occasion, has put the Glen Oaks Panthers into punt formation several times, and on every drive that our offense have had the ball, we put the football in the end zone.
Well, Baker scoring on a 45-yard drive that took 2 minutes and 47 seconds off the clock with 6 plays.
Here's the penalty, excuse me. Here's the penalty that is going to be assessed against the Panthers. 15 yards because of roughing the quarterback. Well, I think they gave them an option that they could have actually had it on the extra point try if they'd have wanted it. That's the reason they was talking to the team, talking to the quarterback before the extra point, and they opted to take it on a kickoff.
Well, Miller kicking off from the 50-yard line should give Buffalo's good
as short as we've been kicking it, we need that 15 yards, I can tell you.
Defensively, you're right.
And it's short
good kick,
again.
But it's got some little hang time on it. Out to the 25-yard line.
Yeah, without the 15-yard penalty, he could easily be at the 40-yard line again. See?
Right. Audie Miller making the tackle. Glen Oaks taking over 1st and 10 on their 25.
Pam's eating your pizza.
Maybe she won't watch this tomorrow morning.
Yeah, right.
Woo! Good licks, number 41. Chad Richardson, along with number 33, Steve Jernigan, both linebackers getting in on the action. Ball player picked up about, let's call it 3 yards. Going to bring up 2nd and 7. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to remind you that the Baker High Athletic Boosters will be meeting this Monday night in the Teachers Lounge at Baker High School. They will normally meet at 7 o'clock, but on this Monday they'll be meeting at 6:30. Meeting 6:30. Plans to discuss the upcoming homecoming dance for Baker High School. So please make every effort to attend. Come out and try to support these young people. Baker Athletic Boosters is not just football, not just young men's or not just young women's sports, but all sports at Baker. They support all sports activities at Baker, and if you have a young person playing a sport here at Baker High School, or even if you don't, if you're an ex-athlete of Baker High School, or you don't even have to be an athlete, just somebody interested in Baker High athletics, please get involved with the Booster Club. Please get involved with the Athletic Boosters. Meeting this Monday night at 6:30 in the Teachers Lounge at Baker High School. 3rd down play, big play, good pressure put on by the quarterback. Now that's good football there.
Pass coverage.
Number 33, Steve Jernigan from linebacker position, putting a good hit. They had good pressure on the quarterback that time by number 82, Darren Berninger, and number 62, Quincy Hall. Both of them popping him hard as he released the ball, but we do have a flag on the play. It is against Glen Oaks.
What is it that special?
I would decline. We had a 3rd down and 3 call. It'll be 4th down and 1 with 5:11 left to go in the first half. But I think Baker is going to take the penalty here. Yeah, they're going to decline it. I don't think there's any question about declining it. You give them another opportunity from, I don't know what the penalty was, whether it's a 5-yard penalty, 10-yard penalty, but you give them another opportunity to keep hold on the ball and turn into 1st down. This time, they have a decision to make. Well, there's been a loss of down as well, so Baker declined the penalty, brings up 4th and 1. Ball on the Glen Oaks 34-yard line. Glen Oaks forced to punt with 5:11 left to go in the first half.
Well, I don't know if they're going to punt or not, Sid. I'm going to just tell you, you don't know the coaching strategy on the part of the Glen Oaks coaching staff. They're leading real early in this game by a score of 21-6, and they got 3 up backs. And, you know, Baker's got that little short snap in their game plan. These folks, you might maybe could suspect they would go for it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they tried to draw them all sides.
Yeah,
good punt. Good punt. Driving our man all the way back to the 19-yard line.
Well, we get around the wall here. They took him out.
Good block.
Yeah.
He's got some room, and he's got some speed. Got one man and beat. Fine personal effort by number 6, Reggie Hilliard, all the way down to the Glen Oaks, well, let's say the Glen Oaks 41-yard line. Well, they're saying he stepped out of bounds further back. 43-yard line, but nevertheless, special teams doing it, Greg. That's the second punt return, and Baker's brought back for good yardage and only had maybe 1 or 2 men that could have broke it all the way.
That's the second good punt return that you've seen Baker have, and I think in a corresponding position like they were in, the Glen Oaks Panthers in the future with 1 yard to go, you'll probably see them go for it.
Greg, that was
the result being about the same thing.
Right, that was a tremendous, a lot of pressure on the quarterback. He's down. His first sack of the ball game for the Panthers. Buffalo's losing yardage all the way back to the 49-yard line. So a loss of about 5 yards on the play. Gonna bring up 2nd and 15. Greg, that last punt by Glen Oaks was a 56-yard punt. We had a 37-yard return. If that would have been a normal punt with a 37-yard return, would have been deep in Glen Oaks territory. Glen Oaks coming up with a good play defensively on 1st and 10 with the sack. Actually lost 7 yards on the play. Is 2nd and 17.
Well,
loose ball. Glen Oaks has it. Well, that's a first breakdown on offense we've seen so far tonight, Greg. First breakdown on offense that we've seen tonight. Maybe got a little lackadaisical.
But we still didn't have to punt.
No. Still hadn't had to punt. That's right. But Glen
that
Oaks
was a
turning
mix
the
up in
ball.
the backfield. They hit that little man pretty hard there on the line of scrimmage. He caught right behind the line of scrimmage. I don't think he made it to the line of scrimmage. Coughing the ball up, and the Glen Oaks Panthers being right there, Johnny, on the spot. Of course, they couldn't advance that fumble, and where he picked it up, he tried to run it, but where he picked it up is where they'll take over.
But you can believe Glen Oaks is going to do everything in their power that they possibly can do to put some points on the board. Glen Oaks down by a score of 21-6 with 3 minutes and 47 seconds left in the first half. Glen Oaks desperately needs to try to put some points on the board. If they could put some points on the board going at halftime, they would have to think that they're still in this contest.
He's airing it out.
Ben Gotro, number 20, trying to get the interception, but he was able to break the pass up. Pass incomplete.
He almost got it, see it? It was close.
3rd and 7 for the Panthers. 3 minutes and 17 seconds left to go in the first half. And Greg, you know as well as I do, these next 2 plays are going to be in the air. Glen Oaks hadn't been able to do much of anything except for the opening drive when they took the ball and marched downfield and made their only score so far in tonight's contest. Hadn't been able to establish any ground attack since that opening drive.
3rd and 7, you might see a short one, 10 or 15 yards. Oh, a little screen pass.
Well, he's got some blockers. Boy, Reggie Hilliard did a fine job.
They closed that gap up fast.
Reggie Hilliard had 2 men blocking him back here at cornerback position. He fought off both blocks and was able to make first contact on the ball carrier. Good job by Hilliard. It's going to be short of a first down. Ball at just inside the 40 near the Baker 39-yard line. It's going to bring up a 4th down. Let's say a 4th and 3. 4th and 3 for the Glen Oaks Panthers with 2 minutes and 45 seconds left to go in the first half.
Well, they might be going to bring their punting team on.
Well, this may be the fake punt that you talked about, Greg.
Well,
unless
it's a little
they
bit more
think
than
they
a yard this time. They're looking at maybe 3 yards. 4th and 3, but they are in the Baker Buffalo territory, and there is but 2 minutes left, 2 minutes and 25 seconds left on the clock, so this is a good opportunity for a fake punt by the Glen Oaks Panthers this time.
Well, they probably trying to turn it over.
Baker making some mistakes, maybe.
Hilliard getting some room. He spins off a few tackles, still on his feet. Hilliard doing a good job. Brings the ball back out to the Baker 23-yard line where the Buffaloes will take over again. First and 10 on their 23 with 2:05 left in the first half.
That was a little short, tight kick, and he didn't have a chance to go around to get to the other sidelines, but he did a good job missing some tacklers right up.
Well, we got an injured Panther on the field. That's the first notable injury of tonight's contest.
Well, we got a little delay in the ball
timeout.
game while they're checking that young man out. There we see Trudy on the Glen Oaks side along with Leroy. I believe, look at Leroy. I believe he used to be a lineman or something, huh? Trudy and Leroy for the Glen Oaks Panthers fans over here, whoever they are. I'm going to tell you what, they could use Leroy out there. My goodness.
Glen Oaks Panther still down on the field, being attended to by the trainers and team physician.
Who is this lady over here? That's no lady.
Let's get this shot here. That's Pam Allen.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pam Allen.
Pam Allen getting off of the table, was getting a little comfortable there, waving at.
Show your pizza. Show your pizza so Susie can see it.
She hated it. Pam Allen, former Baker cheerleader. Pam wants to get back on that field, Greg.
Yeah, bad, man. Bad. She's so excited about high school football. Sometimes I don't know who's dating Joey Nelson, Jennifer or Pam. They both fired up about that quarterback, I'm telling you.
Got a rub in her head, Greg. Well, Glen Oaks Panthers still down on the field. Baker trainers and physicians over there along with the Glen Oaks people taking a look at him. Certainly hope that young man's not injured severely.
Well, it's been a long time. He's been laying out there, so it doesn't look like he's got to pull a muscle, does it? Of course, in a situation like this, we always hope that there's no serious injuries. These young men practice real hard. Baker had some scares right at the first of the season, Sid, and I think you know that very well. Ben Gotro was one of them in one of the first ball game, one of the first contests. He was shaking up, boy, and it'll scare you when you realize how much work they put into this, that something could happen and they'd have to miss the rest of the season. Baker's dance team, or flag corps over there getting ready for the halftime activities. We just got a shot of them deep in the end zone. We'll have a little halftime show. And there's all the Buffalo fans that came from Bufftown, came all the way into Baton Rouge for this ball game. Some of them flew in, some of them took trains, some of them came by trailways, Greyhound and what have you, but they managed to make this trip. We're glad to see that many people follow the Buffaloes into the big city. You know, there's people in Baton Rouge still don't realize that we wear shoes up there in Baker, see?
I know there's several people that think we still...
They talk about the chief of police in Baton Rouge, some of them circles I travel in. They asked me if White Earp is still the sheriff up there, man. Huh?
Well, Glen Oaks man.
See a picture of the blimp over here, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, the Exxon blimp. I believe we can focus in on it.
Exxon.
Yeah, there's the Exxon blimp, folks. It'll be able to get some aerial view shots from them. I think Pat Summerall and them will be up in there probably. Anyhow, folks, I know this is confusing to you, but this is not Monday Night Football. This is Friday Night Football at its best. I'm Greg Allen along with Sid Gotro and our fine assistant statistician, Mr. Jay Brown, bringing you the best in Baker High School athletics. Joey Nelson.
Well, it looked like it. Well, that's Braxton, huh? Number 30, Jeff Braxton, ball carrier for the Buffaloes, picks up about 4 yards. Call it 2nd and 6. Clock's running with 1 minute and 47 seconds left to go in the first half of this contest. Jeff Mulkey, the ball carrier. Looks like he picked up about 2 yards on a play. It's going to bring up 3rd and 4. 3rd and 4 for the Buffaloes. Baker going without a huddle here, it looks like. timeout being called by the Buffaloes.
A minute and 31 seconds on the clock left to play in the first half of play. Baker leading the Glen Oaks Panthers by a score of 21-6. They've had real good success running the football in this first half, Sid, but since they do have so much real estate between them and as little time left, if they are thinking of points, you maybe see, I ain't second guessing the coaching staff, you maybe see Joey Nelson put the football in the air, but then again, the coaches might not want to do anything foolish. They might be happy going into halftime with a score like this, or taking a chance with the next minute and a half with some more fantastic running plays. So,
well, if they're going to go deep, I would think
10,
that
11, yeah.
if they go deep on this play, it's a minute and 31 seconds left to go in the first half, and like you say, it's 3rd down and 4. Balls at the Baker, let's say the Baker 28-yard line. Greg, I think the man that they would be looking for would probably be number 2, Greg Davis. Number 2, Greg Davis, who can really fly and knows what to do with it when he catches
And
it.
he's wide out to the right. He'll be going down across the middle. Yeah,
Across the middle, intended for number 2. Oh, almost intercepted. Ball hit Davis, went up in the air.
No,
Davis
it didn't get to Davis. I think the defender
intended
did.
for Davis, rather, and the linebacker for Glen Oaks got a hand on it, knocked it up in the air, and safety almost coming up with a good interception on play, just couldn't hold on to the ball, thank goodness.
Folks, you're going to see something the first time tonight that you hadn't seen at all, and that is the Baker punter on the field. This will be the first time the Baker Buffaloes will go into punt formation. They'll be kicking away since it is 4th down and about 5 yards to go, and they're deep in their own territory around the 27-yard line. So this is the first for Baker tonight in Memorial Stadium.
Hilliard in the punt for the Buffaloes. It's away a nice kick, good hang time, going down to about the 39-yard line. Ooh, number 25, Roderick Coffey, mad at himself. He almost took that guy's head off if he'd have been able to connect with him.
Well, number 8 has real good composure. He managed to handle that football and still get an extra 5 yards out of it. Had he let the football go under heavy traffic, a lot of times they'll do that, his team could have been another 20, 25 yards down the field, so that was good. A good fine effort by the punt receiving team for Glen Oaks. Good coverage by the Buffaloes. Minute and 15, clock stop. 21-6 Buffaloes.
Well, both special teams for Buffaloes, kickoff team and the punt team, doing an
Got a
outstanding
little
job.
bobble on the play, I think. Pizza Hut, folks. I want to thank Pizza Hut, furnishing pizza to the press box and supporting the Baker High School Athletic Association, an organization all year long. While you're watching this football game this morning, look, you got to have lunch. Call Pizza Hut. They'll deliver now. Give them a call. Tell them you need a pizza to finish watching the second half of this game.
Ooh! Boy, I tell you what, Tim Breed, number 44, just leveled the quarterback as soon as he threw the ball. Pass was complete, however. Brings up a 3rd down. Ball at the Glen Oaks 49-yard line. Of course, Glen Oaks definitely passed in situations. 28 seconds left to go. Trying to get the ball.
Good defense.
Number 29, Ron Mulkey, all over the receiver. It's going to be awful close to Glen Oaks' first down.
Close enough for him to call timeout and pull the chain.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, we got 18 seconds left in the first half of play here at Memorial Stadium, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The Baker Buffaloes on top of the Glen Oaks Panthers by a score of 21-6.
I think we got a little halftime activity that might be a surprise to the people, folks. So after this 18 seconds of fine football, you want to stay tuned and catch a little halftime activity by both of these high schools. I see some folks lining up around the other side of the stadium at the end zone by Baker, the likes of which I have never seen. They look like might have some costumes or something that I hadn't seen before. And I'm kind of anxious to see what this is going to be myself. So y'all stay tuned for it.
Looked like they stopped and got some of those animals out of the Baton Rouge Zoo.
Well, we're getting close to Halloween. You don't think there's any goblins or anything over there?
4th and 1.
Well, Baker held him on that, but I think the quarterback had an opportunity.
What did I say?
Well, it was
a first down?
It was clock stop. Is that 4 seconds or 9 seconds? Probably 9 seconds.
I was watching animals.
9 seconds left to go on the clock. You could see, you're going to see one more play and possibly 2 if it's a pass play.
2nd and 10, the ball at the Baker 47-yard line, and there's the pass. He's airing it out.
Well, he well overthrew his man. That was 9 seconds. Now the clock stops with 4 seconds to play, and Glen Oaks will get another opportunity. This is Hail Mary time, I believe, Sid. That's what they're trying to pull. But our defenders is giving them everything on the interior, and all 3 of our deep backs are staying back deep. So if they would catch one, I'm sure they're going to be in traffic when they do.
Baker in a total prevent defense. This should be the last play of the first half. Glen Oaks back to pass, got good pressure on the quarterback. He's going to go down. That's the way you defend that.
Well, he's history, folks.
Good pressure.
At halftime, right here at Memorial Stadium, the Baker Buffaloes lead the Glen Oaks Panthers by a score of 21-6. Stand by for some exciting halftime activity.
I need to sit down. I got no power.
Go worship up here anywhere? Hey, Coach Worship. Hey, bro, what's up? What happened to being on the board?
Man, they got a young girl down there hugged up on his knee. Man, I hope that nigga daughter, man.
Hey, Ray.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and in the foreground you can see behind Memorial Stadium here the state capital for the state of Louisiana. Baton Rouge being the capital city. We're right here in the press box at Memorial Stadium looking at the state capitol building.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to start the second half of play here at Memorial Stadium, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Score Baker Buffaloes 21, the Glen Oaks Panthers 6. First score came in the first quarter. It was a 52-yard drive that took 1 minute and 23 seconds and 4 plays by Glen Oaks. On a 30-yard pass, Glen Oaks went up on top of the Buffaloes early in the ball game on the first possession by a score of 6-0. They went for a 2-point extra point conversion. It failed. Baker scored first on their first possession in the first quarter. With 7 minutes and 13 seconds left to go in the first quarter, Baker scoring on a 61-yard drive that took 3 minutes and 24 seconds off the clock on 9 plays. Point after attempt failed, and the score at that point was Baker 6, Glen Oaks 6. The next score came with 11 minutes and 24 seconds left to go in the second quarter on a 3-yard run by Butler. Capped off a 95-yard drive that took 5 minutes off the clock on 13 plays. Nelson ran the ball in for a 2-point conversion. At that point, the score was 14-6 Baker. The next score came by Baker High School with 6 minutes and 43 seconds left to go in the second quarter. 7-yard pass from Nelson to Davis. Miller's kick was good. That scoring drive was 45 yards on 6 plays and took 2 minutes and 47 seconds off the clock. And that's the way the first half ended with a score of Baker 21, Glen Oaks 6. Halftime statistics so far tonight, Baker has 12 first downs as opposed to Glen Oaks 5. Yards passing, Baker is 3 for 5 in the passing department for 44 yards. Glen Oaks 8 for 17 for 81 yards. Rushing, Baker had 25 rushing attempts first half for 168 yards. Glen Oaks 8 for 16. So total yardage for both teams in the first half, Baker High School 212 yards for the first half total offense as opposed to Glen Oaks 99 yards total offense. Baker punted once for 28 yards. Glen Oaks punted 4 times for a total of 36 yards as a 5-yard average. Fumbles, Baker had 1, lost 1 in the first half. Glen Oaks had 1 and recovered their own fumble. Penalties, Baker 4 for 25 in the first half. Glen Oaks 1 for 15. We want to thank our statistician, John Brown, for providing us with these stats. Ladies and gentlemen, the man does it without a calculator.
I want to thank Pizza Hut, folks. Pizza Hut for sponsoring tonight's football game. 774-7440. Give them a call for a pizza. And we have the kickoff.
Butler, ooh, hard hit. We heard it all the way up here in the press box, but Eric Butler, number 22, returning the kickoff for the Buffaloes out to about the 49-yard line. Baker take over 1st and 10, first possession of second half with excellent field position. We have some halftime scores here that's going to be all academic because when you watch this program Saturday morning, this is all history, but it gives us something to do. Halftime, Central 7, Capital 7, Denham Springs 21, Bel Air nothing, East Ascension 10, Tyra nothing, Santa Ma 14, Lee nothing, Catholic 23, Estruma nothing. Mulkey, the ball carrier, running hard, gets past the 50-yard line down to about the Glen Oaks, let's call it 47-yard line. Pick up of about, well, let's say 3. We'll bring up 2nd and 7. In AAA football, Woodlawn is ahead of Donisonville 21-20. Zachary over Walker by a score of 20-0. AA, Trafton 13, Bruley 12.
Well, we missed the kickoff in the second half, but that was all. It was a short kick giving Baker good field position for a decent short return there on the Glen Oaks side of the field right now with the Baker Buffaloes on offense attacking the Glen Oaks Panther defense.
We got a 3rd down and 2, 3rd and 2. Ball at the Glen Oaks 42-yard line. Number 31, Andy Foster, bringing the play into quarterback Nelson. Jeff Mulkey, number 24, is at the tailback position. Jeff Braxton, number 30, at the fullback position. That's the combination that we started the game with. Number 2.
Encroachment, I think, said on the part of the defense. I think there was some encroachment. They definitely moved across the line, and maybe someone made contact. Well, Yeah, encroachment on the defense. About 3 of them came across the line. I think there was a little tricky calling by Joey Nelson that time that caused that, and one of them obviously made contact with an offensive man. Encroachment against Glen Oaks will be 5 yards against the Panthers.
First down brings the ball to the Panther 37-yard line. Number 13, Sewell, flanked to the near side. Number 2, Greg Davis to the far side. Pitch back to number 24, Mulkey. Oh, Mulkey hit hard, still on his feet, still trying to run, but actually loses a couple of yards on a play back to the 39. Brings up 2nd down and 12 for the Buffaloes, and that time Glen Oaks doing a fine job. Pitch back to Mulkey, had nowhere to go. Tried to fight his way to the line of scrimmage, fought off a few tacklers, spun off, but then was polished off by about 3 Panther defenders. Actually, no chance for that player ever think about developing. 2nd and 12. For the Buffaloes. Foster in the ball game. Flanked out wide with Davis. Nelson on a rollout. Got time. He's got a man open. Way downfield. Number 2, Greg Davis, had his man beat down by the goal line. Joey had a lot of pressure on him that time. Tried to get the ball to number 31, Foster. Foster was well covered by 2 Glen Oaks defenders. It's probably just as well if that ball was thrown a little high, Greg, because there could have been a chance for interception there. Brings up 3rd down and 12.
I thought the way he rocked back at first, he was going to go deep.
I did too.
And then man down on the goal line could have made a little cross pattern. He could have been wide open.
Well, it brings up 3rd down and 12. 3rd down and 12. This is Baker's first possession in the second half. So far tonight, Baker's only had to punt the ball 1 time. Pitch back to number 24. He's got some room.
There's that option play we've been talking about. Fine effort.
Well, we got a 4th down play here, but it was a fine effort. The ball down to Baker. At the Glen Oaks 29.
4th and 3, though, Sid. So inside the 30-yard line, I don't know that Baker could advantage anything by a punt. Their defense has certainly risen to the occasion since that first offensive attack by Glen Oaks. So we'll see what the coaching staff for the Baker Buffaloes opt to do on this play.
Andy Foster, number 31's in. He's flanking out to the far side along with number 2, Greg Davis. They may be going on that same play.
That was a fine option play by Joey Nelson that time.
Joey Rolas got pressure again. Got Davis wide open. Davis down to the 21-yard line, enough for a 1st down. Greg Davis wide open. Joey Nelson getting the ball to him. Greg making a good reception. Buffaloes have a 1st and 10 at the Glen Oaks 21-yard line.
Well, you know, Joey Nelson probably has a little extra at stake in this ball game, Sid. Of course, it's a district ball game, and he opts to win every ball game as being a professional quarterback that he is. But his dad in the late 60s was the quarterback for the Glen Oaks Panthers, and I'm sure he's been taking a little ribbon from the family all this week, and he's probably wanting a lot more out of this ball game just to win. So
Mulkey's got the pitch. Beautiful. He could go.
That's a beautiful option play.
Well, they're going to call him out, but Mulkey, man, I tell you, that was a beautiful option play. It fooled just about everybody and almost fooled us. Everybody took the man.
I think it fooled the cameraman that time. We got off target a little bit.
But great play, and Jeff Mulkey doing a fine job just turning on the afterburner down the sideline. Almost got it in the end zone. Gives the Baker Buffaloes 1st and goal, the ball on the 1-yard line. So Baker here.
I think Joey Nelson that time showed Rusty Nelson how the option's supposed to be. A beautiful fake up the middle, boy.
Mulkey has 102 yards rushing. Touchdown. Mulkey so far tonight has 103 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns, Greg. Jeff Mulkey having an outstanding game for the Buffaloes. With 8 minutes and 18 seconds, Baker taking the kickoff to open the second half, marching all the way down the field. I'll give you the stats on that drive in just a minute. But Baker putting 6 points on the board. Score at this point is Baker Buffaloes 27, Glen Oaks Panthers 6. Extra point attempts coming up. In the hole is number 10, Nelson. Number 83, Artie Miller, in to attempt the extra point. No good.
Off to the right this time. Well, Miller's a little off target tonight on his extra point. The key to that play, though, it was a beautiful option play, was the execution by the quarterback, Joey Nelson. Made a beautiful fake handoff up the middle and made an excellent pitch to his to the pitch man, and almost on that play got in the end zone. They were just short by about a yard, which the drive culminated in a touchdown anyhow. But I think Joey's saying to his dad, sit back, Dad, let me show you how it's done. So let me show you what I'm going to do to your old team here at Glen Oaks. So good job, Joey Nelson.
8 minutes, 18 seconds left to go in the third quarter, and the Buffaloes on top of the Panthers, 27-6. John, you got us any stats on that last drive? Working on it.
Well, that's the most decent kick we've seen tonight, Sid.
Kick going down to about the 14-yard line. Oh, good tackle there made by who is that? That's number 72 for the Buffaloes. Should be Jason Wilson. It is Jason Wilson for the Buffaloes, making a fine tackle on the kickoff team. Glen Oaks bringing the ball out to their 30, let's call it their 32-yard line. Start off 1st and 10 on 32. John, what do we have on that last drive? That score came with 8 minutes and 18 seconds left to go in the third quarter. 2-yard run by Mulkey. The point after was no good. Baker scored 44-yard drive with 8 plays. Took off 3 minutes and 36 seconds off the clock. Glen Oaks getting back to the line of scrimmage. Well, actually lost a yard on a play. Brings up 2nd and 11. Ball at the Glen Oaks 31-yard line. Greg, I'm looking for another aerial show for Glen Oaks. They hadn't been able to establish a run since the first possession of a nice ball game on that only scoring drive they had. I look for them to try to throw the ball. Razzle-dazzle, triple.
Yeah.
Good job.
Oh, he's wide open.
Reggie Hilliard to catch him.
He's the only
Reggie's going to catch him. Good job, Reg.
Hey.
Well, he was wide open.
That'll bring the fans to their feet. Now, if that ain't a razzle-dazzle.
Well, Baker almost had him in the backfield. The ends do an outstanding job of containing and rushing the quarterback. Nobody was fooled with that portion of the play, but
I think the deep defenders thought they really did have him in the backfield, and they let that man get deep on him, see?
Well, the receiver did have his man beat, and then, of course, the man missing the tackle on the play. But Reggie Hilliard, number 6, said, no way, Jose, you're not taking it in the end zone. But Glen Oaks coming out with great field position, 1st and 10 to Baker, 21-yard line.
Oh, he got hit that time. Oh!
Almost intercepted down there, number 20, Ben Gotro.
I thought Ben was going to get to it that time, see it. It was a little kind of a wounded duck because they hit that quarterback just as he released that football.
Well, 2nd down and 10 for Glen Oaks, ball at the Baker 22-yard line. Glen Oaks having this is the only other scoring opportunity that Glen Oaks has had in this ball game other than the opening drive when they took the possession of football to start the ball game. 2nd and 10. I think it's fair to say that you're going to see the ball go into the air. I'm looking for an interception. Flag down on the play. Yeah, Ben trying to get on that ball. Number 7, Mike Birdwell, doing a good job on the coverage at cornerback. We'll bring up 3rd down. We got a flag on the play. We're going to edit this tape. Good job. We got a fumble. We got a loose ball.
Yeah.
Buffalo's got it. Good job.
Baker Buffaloes recover the fumble. They'll take over on the Glen Oaks 34-yard line.
Number 77 Keith Brissett putting the pressure on the quarterback was all over him, caused a fumble. I don't see who came up with the ball for the Buffaloes, but outstanding defensive effort. Turns the ball right back around. Buffaloes have the ball 1st and 10 at the Glen Oaks, or at the Baker 34-yard line.
Grady, you see Grady there?
Ladies and gentlemen, we got 6 minutes and 20 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Buffalo's on top by a score 27-6. Hand up off the middle to Braxton. Braxton running hard. Nowhere to go, though. Got back to the line of scrimmage. Well, let's say he picked up about a yard on the play. Gonna bring up 3rd down and 5. 3rd down and 5 for the Buffaloes. Ball at the Baker 39-yard line. Number 31, Foster, in the ball game for the Buffaloes. The running backs, number 30, Jeff Braxton, in the fullback position. The tailbacks, number 22, Eric Butler. Nelson back to throw the ball. He's got, oh, man, couldn't hit. Well, hit him in the wrong spot, Greg. Hit him in the hands.
That's what they're saying.
Brings up a 4th and 5. Buffaloes in a punting situation here. In the kick for the Buffaloes, number 6, Reggie Hilliard. Flag down. We're going to have a roughing the kicker, taking a Baker roll down inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line, but we're going to have a roughing the kicker, and Hilliard, number 6, the punter for the Buffaloes, is hurt.
I'm going to tell you what, Sid, if he ain't, he needs an award from the Academy of Arts and Sciences. I'm going to tell you that.
Hey, he's a little shook up, but it's good to see him walking off the field on his own power. Number 6, Hilliard. That should give the Buffaloes a 1st down. Let's see what they call it if it was. Officials discussing it on the sideline. Well, we still don't know what's going on. I
don't know what size of penalty it's going to be, Sid. If
looks like it's going to be 5 yards.
Well, that'll still be enough. It looks like where the markers are.
Now, that's why they're going back to where the marker is to mark the ball. I think they're going to try to see exactly if it is going to give
they're calling roughing the kicker. I've seen an indication by one of the officials. Let's see if we can see the officials, Goo.
Well, it's not going to give us enough for a 1st down, Greg. It's running into the kicker rather than roughing the kicker. It's only a 5-yard penalty, and it's still we come up a few inches short. Hilliard shaking up. He's not able to come out on the field and punt. Number 20, Ben Gotro's in the punt for Hilliard, number 6, who was injured when he was ran into by the opposing team. Well, looks like we might have a delay of the game penalty here.
No, I think it was an illegal procedure. That could be it. Let's see.
Well, it's 5 yards against the Buffaloes. Going to put it right back where it started before the penalty. So all we're doing is re-kicking. We picked up 5 yards on a penalty of running into the kicker. It wasn't enough for the 1st down. We were short by about a half a foot. But Baker receiving a procedural call there, penalty. Baker could have been trying to draw Glen Oaks off. High snap.
He managed it, though.
Decent hang
High
time. Taking a Buffalo roll down to the 31-yard line. Boy, that kind of put my heart up my throat a little bit when I saw that high snap. So Baker take the ball down to the Glen Oaks 31-yard line, where Glen Oaks will take over 1st and 10 on their 31 with 5:07 left to go in the third quarter. Good job, number 33, Steve Jernigan, coming from his linebacker position to run the ball carrier down after a pickup, maybe a yard pickup on a play. Let's call it 2nd and 9, ball at about the 33-yard line. Mike Birdwell, number 7, in at cornerback, along with number 6, Hilliard, who's back in the ball game. Safeties are number 20, Ben Gotro, number 29, Ron Mulkey.
Oh, yeah, good defense.
Well, that pass was right there. That was hard. That's one that all you can do is make sure he doesn't go anywhere when he catches it. Kind of hard to break that pass up. Number 6, Reggie Hilliard, tattooing him as soon as he caught the ball. A pickup of about, well, let's say a pickup of about 7 on the play. Gonna bring up 3rd and 2. Ball out to the Glen Oaks 39-yard line. Look for Glen Oaks to try that long pass that they completed right there at the start of the second half when they had possession of football. It is passing situation.
Said by far, this has been the best test that the Baker defensive secondary has had this year in terms of having to cover the number of passes that they've had to cover. But they've done the job. They've been every place they're supposed to be, with just 1 or 2 little small exceptions to the rule, being the first touchdown in particular, which was about the 5th or 6th play of the game. And then we seen on that flea flicker where they caught a long pass. But other than that,
Greg, they better get ready for the test because they got 2 teams coming up. One, Capital High School, who has quite a bit of speed and good quarterback, Chad Germany. Boy, beautiful high punt going back to the Baker 15-yard line. Number 6, Hilliard taking it down. Hilliard's trying to get outside his man. He does. Hilliard's still on his feet, doing an excellent job. Still on his feet. Reggie Hilliard doing an outstanding job, and Greg, so far tonight, I tell you what, special teams have done a good job for the Buffaloes tonight.
Doggone, that was
a great personal effort there. But
there were some good key blocks thrown on that return, too.
The other team that Baker's going to face this year that's got a brother and brother combination there, quarterback to receiver, is the Burks brothers over in Denham Springs. So Baker have 2 strong tests coming up, especially for the defensive secondary in both those games against Capital and Denham Springs. Key contest in this district.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, stand by and get ready for the trivia question of the week. The trivia question, we'll give the question, and the first 10 people that call in, 774-6699. First 10 people that call in, 774-6699, with the correct answer for the trivia question will receive a prize that will be announced at the end of the ball game. We'll announce the prize at the end of the ball game. The trivia question for this week is, name one of our sponsors. Name one of the 2 sponsors that sponsor in this football game, this program, for you today. One of the 2 sponsors. We're not talking about Trail Productions or Baker's Cable Division of Baker and Zachary, but one of our 2 regular sponsors. Call in at 774-6699 with the correct answer. One of our 2 sponsors, and you'll win a prize. It'll be announced toward the end of this ball game. First 10 people to call wins the prize. First 10 people to call with the correct answer, I might say.
Sewell, intended receiver. Nelson did a fine job of getting the ball through the defenders to him. He just couldn't hold on to it. Brings up a 3rd down and 8. That was a 45-yard kick by Glen Oaks and a 33-yard return by Reggie Hilliard. Baker has a 3rd and 8, the ball on the Baker 49-yard line. Fake the handoff to number 22, Butler. He's going deep.
Davis.
Ooh! Boy, that was a good effort by number 2, Greg Davis. Greg leaping for the ball, trying to make the catch, but ball was just a little too far thrown.
I'll tell you what, for that distance in between the quarterback and the receiver, Joey Nelson wasn't far off target.
No, he sure wasn't. Number 22 for Glen Oaks doing a fine job of staying with Greg Davis that time. Brings up a 4th down and 8. Buffalo's forced to punt the ball from their 49-yard line. In to do the punting is number 6, Hilliard. I think we short a man on the field. They're trying to get somebody out there. Number 40, Anthony McCurdy.
He'll get a little special recognition this next week at practice, I think.
Low punt. Well, Glen Oaks ball carrier trying to run with the ball, but gets popped down on his 25-yard line. Glen Oaks will take over with 2 minutes, 21 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter here, Memorial Stadium, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Buffalo's Baker High School on top of the Glen Oaks Panthers by a score of 27-6. Secondary for the Buffaloes right now, we got 25. Ryder Coffey and number 6, Reggie Hilliard in at the corners. Ben Gotro, number 20, and Ronke Mulkey, number 29.
Baker might have it. That's the Buffaloes football on the Glen Oaks 24-yard line. Fumble recovery by the Buffalo.
Number 77, Keith Brosette, big tackle for the Buffaloes, coming up with the recovery. So the defense turns the ball back over to the offense, giving them excellent field position. Baker starting off 1st and 10 at the Glen Oaks 24-yard line.
Good run.
Braxton running hard, fighting off a couple of defenders. Picks up about 3 yards. Well, let's say 3 yards on the play. Brings up 2nd and 7. The ball at the Glen Oaks 21-yard line. Number 13, Sewell, bringing the play in the quarterback, Nelson. Sewell and Davis flank forward to the wide side of the field. Pitch back to number 22, Butler. Butler breaks.
He's in bounds. He's all right.
He stepped out of bounds on about the 16-yard line.
I tell you what, he was close.
Real close. Fisher right there on top of the plate.
He was stepping that sideline, boy.
Gonna bring up 3rd down and 2. 3rd down and 2. The ball at the 16-yard line. Number 31, Andy Foster, checking in the ball game for the Buffaloes.
But Joey Nelson taking his Baker Buffaloes in here tonight, putting it on his dad's old team, Glen Oaks Panthers, here at Memorial Stadium so far with 1 minute and 30 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Him and his Buffaloes are leading by a score of 27-6. 1st down.
Buffalo's picking up the 1st down on that run. Down inside the 15-yard line. Let's call it the, officials marking it about the 13-yard line. Brings up 1st and 10 for the Buffaloes. Ball on the Glen Oaks 13-yard line. Nelson keeping the ball.
Beautiful job, Joey Nelson on the option again.
I tell you what, the fake was to number 30, Jeff Braxton. Jeff doing a good job on the fake. 2 defenders hit him as if he had the ball. Nelson just tucked the ball on his side, went around the end, kept it, and got down near, they marking it at the 5-yard line. Good pickup on the play, 8-yard gain. It's going to be 2nd down and 2, the ball at the Glen Oaks 5-yard line.
Said at the first of the season, people speculating as to what kind of quarterback Joey Nelson would be. And saying that he was his dad was a former all-district quarterback here, and good shot. Look,
Well,
he got
Braxton trying to get around, but people all over him, loses a yard on the play.
They were talking about different things like and I got to mention myself, if he was half the quarterback his dad was in high school, who was a real fine athlete in Baton Rouge back in the late 60s, that he would be a fine quarterback if he was half as good as his dad. And so far, I'm going to tell you, so far, halfway through this season, he's meeting the occasion. His dad better watch out if he's got any record books kept. I can tell you, the young man doing a good job. The end of the third quarter, folks, the Baker Buffaloes so far have taken it to the Glen Oaks Panthers by a score 24-6, and they're threatening again, Sid.
Well, Greg, you're right. Joey Nelson has really done a fine job for the Buffaloes at quarterback this year. Buffaloes on top, Glen Oaks Panthers by a score of 27-6, and there go the Buffalo players out there on the field and on the far sideline with their hands up with the symbolic 4, gesturing that the fourth quarter belongs to the Buffaloes. And with the exception of last week, for the last 52 seconds of the ball game, that's right, we usually own the fourth quarter. We got 1 quarter of football left to play here at Memorial Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Buffalo's on top of the Panthers, 27-6. Buffalo's scoring here.
That's been a tradition of the Buffalo, Sid. You really show your pride in the fourth quarter. When you're getting tired, you're wore down, and that's where pride comes in. That's where it shows what you're made out of. And Baker Buffalo has always played a tough fourth quarter.
3rd and 3, double tight end position, 44, Tim Breeden in.
There's an option again.
Pitch back to number 22, Butler fighting to get, man, he's close to a first down near the 2.5, 3-yard line. Good move he made that time. Butler doing a good job getting the ball down.
Gonna bring up a 4th, I believe, Sid.
Awful close. I think they're gonna,
I believe it's gonna be 4th down. We might want to zoom in there
4th
while
down.
they're working a change, good.
4th down and about 1 to go. 4th and 1. Be interesting to see what the call is here. Baker having a lot of success with the option. Got 4th and 1. The ball on the 3-yard line. Need to get to about the 2 for a first down. Just starting the fourth quarter.
Well, it wasn't enough for a measurement. They're saying it's an obvious 4th down, so the Buffalo.
Baker's still going with the double tight end position. Handoff touchdown. Number 30, Jeff Braxton, taking the ball over center. There's a good block thrown in there.
I'm going to be honest with you. I looked for the quarterback sneak that time.
Well, number 60, Brian Burke, going along with number 61, Jerry Rayburn, throwing 2 fine blocks on that play, along with the tackle on that side of the field. 3 excellent blocks. Jeff Braxton hit the hole hard and fast. He's in for another Baker score. Score Baker 33, Glen Oaks 6. Looks like we're going for a 2-point conversion. No. We're going for the extra point attempt here. Holding the ball will be number 10, Joey Nelson. In to attempt the extra point is number 20, Ben Gotro. Extra point attempt, no good. So Baker kickers having a lot of trouble so far here tonight, Greg, getting the ball over the goalpost. I'm sorry.
Well, he must be just missing, Sid, because from here on all 3 attempts, we thought that it was going through the uprights. He's got plenty of distance, good strong leg, and he's either missing off to the right or the left every time.
Well, Artie Miller missing 2 extra point attempts tonight for the Buffaloes. Ben Gotro coming in and missing 1. Also, that's 3 extra point attempts is missed, so that's 3 points. I mean, we've got this game well in control, but that's 3 points that should be on the board for the Buffaloes.
Well, it's not just the points in terms of winning. The young man needs he'd like to have the points himself, and I know the coaching staff would, and they're concerned because they could be in a situation later in this season where they want his accuracy to be of record, and he might be having a little correspondence course with the coaches here for long.
Well, that's something they definitely better work on between now and next week. That extra point could mean the difference in winning and losing in a close ball game.
We've been having short kickoffs, Sid, with one exception. Let's see what they can do this time. It's a decent kick.
Kick going down to the 21-yard line. Glen Oaks. Woo! Boy, he just shot out of that pile. Looked like they had him down. He just blew out for another 10 yards. Brings the ball out to the Glen Oaks 45-yard line, where Glen Oaks would take over 1st and 10 at that point. Earl Marcel, number 4, in at a safety position for the Buffaloes. Number 6, Hilliard in on a tackle along with number 4, Marcel. Awful close to a first down. Pickup of about 9 yards on a play. Call it 2nd and 1. Ball down to the Baker 46-yard line. Total stats. Well, we'll start giving you the stats so far through the third quarter play here in just a moment. Got a 2nd and 1, the ball to Baker 46-yard line. Well, it was just overthrown. He had his man wide open, just overthrown that time. So far through the third quarter play, the stats, Baker had 13 first downs, Glen Oaks 6. Baker had 53 yards passing, Glen Oaks 133. Rushing, Baker had 222 yards rushing. Glen Oaks had 11. So the total offense after the third quarter, 275 yards for the Buffaloes, 144 for the Glen Oaks Panthers. 3rd and 1. Looks like he got enough for a first down. He's over the 45 down to about the Baker 44-yard line. It is enough for a Glen Oaks first down. So with 9 minutes, 57 seconds left to go in this contest, Glen Oaks picks up a first down and decent field position. Ball at the Baker 44-yard line. Quincy Hall being replaced at nose guard. We'll try to get that man's number for you in a minute. Pass complete for pickup of about 7 yards down to the Baker 38-yard line.
Tackle made by number 4.
Or Marcel in on the tackle. Brings up 2nd and 3. Let's see, a nose guard. It should be number 71, Anthony Isaac. I still can't get his number yet. Tackle made out there by number, well, let's see, that's number 33, Steve Jernigan, along with number 75, Mark Haywood, and number 4, Earl Marcel, all in on the tackle for the Buffaloes. But not until after the ball carrier picked up the first down, ball down to the Baker 27-yard line. Another first down for the Panthers. Clock's running with 8 minutes and 35 seconds left to go in this contest. Glen Oaks having a first down. Whew, good job defensively out there that time. Number 29, Ron Kimulke. Let's see. Yeah, that was 29, Ron Kimulke in on the tackle. Ball carrier only picked up a yard on a play, bring up 2nd and 9.
I'm not sure that's how it was.
Ron Kimulke in on the interception for the Buffaloes. Number 29, senior Ron Kimulke, safety position, coming up with the interception. So the defense turns the ball back over to the offense with 7 minutes and 35 seconds left to go in this contest. Baker will start off 1st and 10 on their own 16-yard line after their interception by Mulkey. So that shuts any threat Glen Oaks had of trying to put some points on the board. Buffalo's had this game well in hand. Glen Oaks' only score came on a drive after the opening kickoff, their first possession of the contest. Glen Oaks looked extremely good, made it look extremely easy against the Buffalo defense, who since that time has really bowed their back and played defense that we're accustomed to seeing here at Baker High School. Good run. Uh-oh, that's going to be a flag. That'll tack on another 15. That's number 34, I think. No, that's going to be number 30. Jeff Braxton was the ball carrier. Brought the ball all the way out to the Baker 27-yard line. That's enough for a first down right there, but I'm sure they're going to tack on some extra with that late hit by one of the Glen Oaks players, and they are. It's another 15 yards. It's going to bring the ball all the way out to the Baker 43, well, let's say the 42-yard line. Well, say the 43. We might as well pick up a yard on it. Gives Baker a 1st and 10 with 7:26 left in the contest. They're on 43-yard line. Good run that time, number 24, Jeff Braxton picks up enough for a first down. Down inside Glen Oaks territory, down to the Glen Oaks 48-yard line. First down for the Buffaloes. Jeff Mulkey, number 24 for the Buffaloes, fine carry. Number 31, Andy Foster checking in to number 10, Nelson. Clock's running with 6:46 left in the contest. Buffalo's on top of the Panthers by a score of 33-6. Nelson back to pass. He's got a man wide open. Number 2, Greg Davis. Greg's got some room. Greg's still on his feet, threading his way all the way down inside the 25-yard line, or near the 25-yard line. Be another first down for the Buffaloes. Greg doing a good job, and we're going to see some new players in the ball game for the Buffaloes, Greg. That's going to give Baker a 1st and 10 at the Glen Oaks 25-yard line with 6:21 left. I'm going to try to give you some numbers and names that go with them. We got number 72 in the ball game for the Buffaloes, Jason Wilson. We got number 51 in there, Jerry Romano. Got number 34, Ivy Toussaint.
Number 8's the quarterback.
Number 8, that will be Vic Todd, 150-pound sophomore quarterback for the Buffaloes. He's in there at quarterback. That's the first time we've seen him this year, Vic Todd. Hand off to, well, I didn't catch him. I'm trying to get some of those other numbers for you. Number 74 is in the ball game for the Buffaloes, Kevin Hayes. We got number 3 checking in with the play. Well, I don't have a 3 on my roster. Try to get some of the other names for you. Number 76 in the ball game, that's Chris Smart. Vic Todd back to throw. Woo! Tried to pass intended down there for number 83. Well, that's going to be 87. Mike Kimball. Pass was intended for number 87. Mike Kimball, who's in the ball game for the Buffaloes. Trying to catch any other number. Number 5's in the ball game. That's Jason Easley. Jason Easley in the ball game for the Buffs. Jason having excellent speed. Vic Todd showing that he's not afraid to throw the ball. Ivy Toussaint, number 34, takes the ball down to about the 25-yard line. That's going to be a pickup of about 5 on the play. We'll bring up 4th and 5. I'm sure Buffaloes are not going to punt or go for a field goal. They'll go try to pick up the first down. Number 53 is also in the ball game, Chris Lindsey for the Buffaloes. Trying to catch all of the numbers. Oh, well, he had a man breaking over in the middle, number 87, Mike Kimball, but just
Todd didn't have any coverage at all. They was right on top of him.
That's right. He had Vic Todd, no time at all to throw the ball. They were all over him, didn't even have time to set up. Loss on the play, back out to the 28-yard line. Glen Oaks will take over, 1st and 10 on their own 28-yard line. We got some new faces on defense too, Greg. I'm trying to get a hold to them there. Number 21's in the ball game. That's Travis Harper.
Good rush.
Oh! We got number 23 in the ball game, Travis Harper. Number 21's also in the ball game for the Buffaloes. Well, I said 21, Travis Harper.
It'll be about a yard short of the first.
Number 23, Ryan Shanley in the ball game for the Buffaloes. Number 42 is in the game for the Buffaloes. That's Paul Gautreaux. Number 84 in the ball game, Patrick Marshall.
Sid Baker has some tremendous depth because the names you're calling right now are not traditional second stringers. These young men are good football players in their own right. It just so happens you can't play with 11 men on the field at a time. And but they have some good depth. These guys are all, even though they're new names in the ball game right now, they're real good super ball players, every one of them.
54, Brad Wells in the game for the Buffaloes. Trying to catch all the numbers as they come in. Woo, good hard tackle. Number 66 in the ball game, Edwin Small for the Buffaloes.
Boy, number 42 for the Buffaloes did a fine job at
Paul
that.
Gautreaux, linebacker. Glen Oaks picks up enough for a first down, gets the ball out to the Glen Oaks 42-yard line. We got 3 minutes and 28 seconds left to go in this contest. Buffalo's on top of the Panthers by a score of 33-6. Threes in the ball game, Ryan Shanley.
Boy, he had an opportunity at that time, Sid. He almost made that interception. Good rush on the quarterback.
Number 64, Craig Lang, making the tackle for the Buffaloes. A few newer players coming in. Number 52 for the Buffaloes is going to be Wayne Pitts. Along with number 86, Tony LeBlanc. First down for Glen Oaks, 1st and 10 to Baker, 47-yard line. Number 71 in the ball game for the Buffaloes, Anthony Isaac. Trying to see if there's any other new numbers out there. Trying to get them all called here. Two minutes and 43 seconds left in the contest. 2nd and 10, the ball is on the Baker 46-yard line. Glen Oaks being unable to score since the opening moments of this game when they took the initial kickoff, marched right down the field on 6 plays and scored. Since that time, Glen Oaks have put nothing together. Number 21 in on the tackle that time.
Travis Harper did a good job.
23, Ryan Shanley also in on the tackle.
Close to kind of polishing him up after Travis Harper got a hold to him.
Number 80, Ken Hilton checking in for the Buffaloes. Ken Hilton, number 80. Well, somebody missed an assignment that time.
2 minutes and 2 seconds on the clock with the clock stopped. Left in the whole contest. 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Baker Buffalo's taking it to the Glen Oaks Panthers here at Memorial Stadium in Baton Rouge by a score of 33-6. I think it's time to sing, turn out the lights, the party's over. Yeah, there they are, the lights is out.
Yeah. 4th and 1 for Glen Oaks, pitch back. Man's got enough for first down. Fighting his way inside the 30 down to the Baker 29-yard line. Stops the clock with 1 minute 53 seconds left to go in this contest. Glen Oaks has a 1st and 10 on the Baker 29-yard line. Hope we call in all the numbers of all the players that are being shuffled in and out of the ball game right now. We got number 66, Small, checking back in the ball game, replacing number 52, Wayne Pitts. Pass incomplete, brings up 2nd and 10, 1 minute and 29 seconds left to go in the contest. Number 45 checking in the ball game for the Buffaloes, Avis Batley. Avis Batley checking in for number 80. Well, let's make sure that's number 80. That might be number 90. Do we have a 90?
Number 90.
That was number 90, Darrell Hills. Darrell Hills was in the ball game for the Buffaloes, not Ken Hilton.
I'll be your spot man, see?
All right.
Travis Harper again, I believe.
Number 21, Travis Harper.
Well, Travis got out there and slipped down, see it, and then he made a beautiful recovery and got up and made the tackle, an open field tackle. Good job for
Brings
Travis
the ball
Harper,
down
number 21.
to near the 20-yard line. It's going to bring up 4th down. Well, 3rd down and 1 for the Panthers. Minute left to go in this contest. Clock still running. Ooh, good job. Well, defense doing a good job putting pressure on the quarterback. That's number 86, Tony LeBon, one of the men putting pressure on the quarterback. Got some new faces in the game. Let's see who they are. Number 61, Jerry Rayburn checking in. We'll try to get the rest of it. Well, we got a timeout. Glen Oaks calling a timeout with 49 seconds left to go in the contest.
Number 21 again and number 84, see? Travis Harper, and who's number 84?
84 is going to be Patrick Marshall. Clock's running with 40 seconds left to go in the contest. Well, touchdown, no flag. Glen Oaks scoring on a pass play. Had excellent pressure on the quarterback from the 22-yard. Well, let's see. I think the ball was at the 17-yard line. With 28 seconds left to go in this contest, Glen Oaks scores. They scored early and they scored late. That's the only two scores that Glen Oaks has been able to muster. I'm sure they'll go for a 2-point conversion here Score being 33-12 is all academic with 28 seconds left to go in this contest.
Yeah, 33-12. They need a 2-point conversion if they're going to have a chance at all, Sid.
All academic at this point. Baker's going to come away in tonight's contest with a 5-1 overall record so far for this season. This is the first district game of the season. Baker will be 1-0 in district after tonight's contest.
And a well-performed contest. They didn't just win. They took it to the Glen Oaks Panthers, I want to tell you.
Next,
how many people they have on the team? If they got 48 people on the team, they played 49 of them tonight.
Who, Baker?
Yeah.
Baker played a whole lot of people
you, I believe they played everybody they got, and one of the members of the student body out of the stands, I believe, got in the game.
Baker will be back home next week at Wedge Sky Stadium after 2 road trips, one to Covington and one here tonight to Glen Oaks at Memorial Stadium. Baker will be back home for their homecoming game next Friday night against the Bel Air Bengals in their second district contest of the year. Each game now a must-win for the Buffaloes if they intend to win district this year. Extra point attempts good, 2-point conversion good. So Glen Oaks scores once early in the game in their first possession and once here late in the ball game. Got 28 seconds left to go on the clock. The Buffaloes on top of the Panthers by a score of 33-14. And I'm sure we'll look for an onside kick here. Glen Oaks trying to get the ball back, trying to put some more points on the board and try to make it halfway respectable. Sure the Buffaloes will be looking for the onside kick.
Ladies and gentlemen, the trivia question, again, we're going to repeat the trivia question. Name any one of our 2 sponsors for tonight's ball game. Any one of our 2 sponsors. That does not include Trib Productions or Cablevision of Baker and Zachary, but our 2 regular sponsors. Name one of the 2 by calling 774-6699, 774-6699. The first 10 people that calls in with the correct answer will win a prize to be that we'll tell you about right at the end of the ball game. Onside kick.
Covered there nicely by number 54, Brad Wells. Number 54, Brad Wells, doing a good job of fielding that onside kick. Going to give the Buffaloes 1st and 10 at the Glen Oaks 47-yard line with 26 seconds left to go in this contest.
I want to thank Bert Carson, owner and production manager of Trib Productions of Baker, Louisiana. First production company of its kind in Baker, Louisiana. Trib Productions. Mr. Bert Carson, along with the cooperation of the Cablevision for Baker and Zachary, Cablevision of Baker and Zachary, for being able to bring this football game to your living room, folks. And I said,
Craig,
go ahead.
This is going to be tough. There's 1 minute left to go in this other contest. Denham Springs 41, Bel Air nothing.
Yeah, maybe Bel Air try an onside kick.
Baker content just to run the clock out
and walk away from here tonight, folks, with a score, a winning attempt over Glen Oaks Panthers of 33-14, a winning effort over the Glen Oaks Panthers. They'll just down the football every down. So for all practical purposes, that'll be the end of the football game.
That is the end of the game,
out
Greg.
the lights.
The party's
over.
It's time for all.
All right, look, one more time, the trivia question. Name one of our 2 sponsors for tonight's ball game. Call 774-6699. The first 10 people calling in with the correct answer will win a free pizza from Pizza Hut. You'll win a free pizza from Pizza Hut. First 10 people to call in with a correct answer. See, this is an opportunity. We're thanking Bert Carson and Trib Productions and Cablevision of Baker and Zachary. But this is a fine opportunity for these young men to be able to perform on the Cablevision system in our area. All their friends and family gets to see this football game, and I know they enjoy this, to have it, and they'll save these tapes for many, many years, an opportunity that we didn't have. So I'm glad to be a part of this so that everybody has an opportunity to be seen on in color in their high school efforts in high school football.
Well, Greg, I've really enjoyed this. I think, what is this, our 7th year to do this,
Yeah.
and I've really enjoyed it. And, you know, sometimes you get a little burnout at times and you think, well, maybe we're not going to be doing any more games. But then you get the administration, the school officials, you get the players' family, not only for the football team, but the band personnel and everything that talk to you and tell you just how much the games mean to them. Makes you feel good, gives you a shot in the arm. And, of course, you want to support Baker High School athletics any way you can. Not only athletics, but we bring the band, the cheerleaders, the pep squad, flag corps, and it's really something that the parents and the students look forward to. But
That's right. And, you know, we keep coming back week after week, year after year for the last 7 years. Like you said, we've had opportunities to leave. ABC's contacted us about Monday Night Football and everything, but we're staying right here. We're not going anywhere.
ESPN made the only offer worth looking at.
Yeah,
so
right.
but,
And it wasn't anything to beat what we got now.
That's right.
I mean, pizza, you know, free pizza.
Pizza, man, you just can't beat it. Greg, to recap tonight's score, and the first score came in the first quarter with 10 minutes and 37 seconds left. In the first quarter, Glen Oaks scored on a 30-yard pass. The point after attempt was a two-point attempt. It failed. Glen Oaks took 52 yards on 4 plays. That ate a minute and 23 seconds off the clock. Glen Oaks scoring first, up by a score of 6-0. Next score came by Baker with 7 minutes and 13 seconds left to go in the first quarter. 36-yard run by Mulkey. Point after attempt failed. It was a 61-yard drive in 9 plays, taking 3 minutes and 24 seconds off the clock. At that point, the score was 6-6. Next score came with 11 minutes and 24 seconds left to go in the second quarter. A 3-yard run by Butler. Nelson attempted a 2-point extra point. He ran it, took it in from 2 yards out. That capped a 95-yard drive that took 13 plays and 5 minutes off the clock. Baker was up by a score of 14-6. Next score came with 6 minutes and 43 seconds left to go in the second quarter. 7-yard pass from Nelson to Davis. Miller kicked the extra point. That was a 45-yard drive, took 6 plays, 2 minutes and 47 seconds off the clock. Baker was up 21-7. Next score came in the second half of the third quarter with 8 minutes and 18 seconds left in the third quarter. 2-yard run by Mulkey. The point after was no good. 45-yard drive in 8 plays. Took 3 minutes and 36 seconds. Baker up 27-6. Baker scored again in the fourth quarter with 11:02 left in the fourth quarter. 3-yard run from Baxton. Point after failed. 24-yard drive in 6 plays. Took 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Baker 33-6. And of course, the last score in the game came in the fourth quarter. Glen Oaks, a 17-yard pass. Attempted a 2-point conversion. It was good. 72-yard drive in 12 plays. Took 4 minutes and 4 seconds off the clock. Final score, Baker 33, Glen Oaks 14. Greg, we got some final stats on the ball game. Baker had a total of 19 first down, Glen Oaks 12. Baker completed 5 of 12 passes for 73 yards. Glen Oaks was 16 of 34 with 1 interception for 189 yards. Rushing, Baker had 46 rushing attempts for 255 yards. Glen Oaks 18 for only 53. Total offense for Baker in this ball game was 328 yards. Glen Oaks 242 yards. Most of those yards coming through passing. Baker punted 3 times for a 28-yard average. Glen Oaks punted 5 times for a 37-yard average. Baker fumbled once, lost that fumble. Glen Oaks fumbled 3 times, lost 2. Baker was penalized 5 times for 30 yards. Glen Oaks penalized 5 times for 44 yards. And that's what you have, Greg.
See, there's one of the organizations that's very supportive of the school. Of course, that's the Baker High School marching band along with the dance corps. We want to mention those folks because they take a lot of their time and a lot of effort in putting on shows for the people of Baker. We'd be remiss in not mentioning the Baker High School coaching staff, congratulating them under the head coaching job of Coach Larry Thomas, along with the offensive coordinator, Coach Joe Moog, and defensive coordinator, Milton Broussard. These men do a fine job. We're real proud to say that they are the coaching staff, along with the other assistant coaches for Baker High School. Everybody was kind of in question this year because Coach Richie Ory wasn't going to be with the group as to what kind of record we could have without Coach Ory. But it looks like we're rising to the occasion. We do miss old Richie, though, and wish him well. But look, folks, it's very nice to be able to bring these ball games to you. I've enjoyed it. I know Sid has, and we're going to bring you a lot more exciting football throughout the rest of the season. I want to thank Jay Brown for keeping stats for us, working with us, keeping us up on some of the major statistical data of the ball game. Thank our cameraman Goo Allen, and we want to thank, again, Mr. Bert Carson and Trev Productions for bringing you this ball game. I'm Greg Allen along with Sid Gotro saying we'll be seeing you next week back at in Bufftown for some more exciting football against Bel Air High School.